Hello to all. I just want to say hi to our lovely audience today. And our topic today is very interesting. It's the latest hype. It's the trending topic of the day, Bitcoin. So we wanted to highlight what's happening, to see where we're going. Bitcoin is so up and down. It's crazy. It's a future trend and things are changing. So with that, I will start with a small video and I will introduce then my guest and let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we gather on. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we gather online as citizens of the world to judge two experts in a critical debate. In this corner, the creator of centralized banking. Make some noise for Alexander Hamilton. And in this corner, the creator of the Bitcoin, the believer in the blockchain. Give it up for Satoshi Nakamoto. Mr. Hamilton, you may begin.
Before we begin, everyone do me a favor and read a little thing I wrote called a Federalist Papers.
Yeah.
I explain how a nation's unlikely to survive without a strong central government to keep it alive. When I launched the central bank, Jefferson called me ill. Now you have my face to thank on every $10 bill. When America was cash-strapped, I pushed past that. While some sicko makes crypto, and our nation backtracks. Decentralized currency. Yes, I invented it. Sure, many governments wish they had prevented it. The national cash is how they keep control. But freedom to the people was my ultimate goal. And like a student, my people meant it doesn't even matter. I invented Bitcoin because fiat is under that. A man from Japan or a damn hologram. I'm the reason open season on crypto began. Does anybody know what this crypto
So,
thing means? To me, sounds
with
like
that, I just want to end and introduce our guest today, Tay. I'll leave the introduction to yourself. I think you're the most person that can actually introduce himself. Please go ahead. Microphone, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. So yeah, I was saying thank you, Rudy, for having me tonight here, and I see a lot of people as well in the chat saying hi. So hi everyone. My name is Tay. I hold a Master's of Sciences in Digital Currencies and Blockchain Technology from the University of Nicosia. By nature, I'm a tech entrepreneur, and I've written a book called The Invisible Sun that as well talks a little bit about Bitcoin and my journey in it. I've been in the Bitcoin space since late 2012, early 2013, and never left since then.
Yes, great. I know you've been leading in the Bitcoin, where you have an interesting story actually to tell us, and then actually you wrote it in your book, which is an amazing book, by the way. So if anybody have the chance to grab a copy, please do. Can you tell us the story and a little bit of the background?
The most significant story that touched me personally with Bitcoin was the times I was in the refugee camp. So I'm based in the Netherlands. I live in The Hague. But in 2014, I had to apply for asylum in order to stay in the Netherlands. And there, I used Bitcoin to order food to the camp, because for every single day we were eating the same breakfast, the same lunch, the same dinner. And I thought to myself, hey, I have Bitcoins on my phone, and there are websites in the Netherlands where you can pay them in Bitcoin and you can order food. So I ordered a pepperoni pizza to the camp. Now, people always ask me, why did you order pizza? Why, and specifically, why pepperoni pizza? In the history of Bitcoin, there was a moment where the first physical product that was ever sold on the Bitcoin network, It was a pizza, a pepperoni pizza. And actually, it were two large pizzas. There was a guy sitting in the United States, and there was a guy in the UK. The United States guy had Bitcoins with him, and he wanted for I think it was for fun or for a joke, just to see if he can buy something with his Bitcoins. So he offered 10,000 Bitcoins for two large pepperoni pizzas. And this order was picked up on the same forum that those two guys were on. And he said, "Hey, I'm in the UK. I will make an international call to the US. I will pay those pizzas with my credit card, and I will get the Bitcoins to me, and the guy will get his pizza." So this was the first physical product ever sold on the Bitcoin network. And the value of those two pizzas, if we want to calculate what he paid for at the prices of today, I think we're around $32,000 per Bitcoin. So multiply it by 10,000, and you will figure out for yourself how much were the pizzas worth. But for me personally, in a situation where there is no other way where you can pay for food except using Bitcoin, this is the art of this technology. This is what is beautiful about it, that the same story was replicated, but in a total different environment, and it worked in both cases.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sorry, just hold on. Okay. Trying to figure out some of the. So everybody is on YouTube now, and we actually have around 66 viewers. So I just want to say hi, and please put your questions here. We will be posting them to Tay in due time. Hussein, I see that you have posted a question, and then we'll take it just a couple of minutes. So with that,
investments as well. So
we'll get back to that. First, I just want for you to introduce really what's Bitcoin, what's the background, what's the hype of it, and so on.
Right. I always introduce Bitcoin as a technology. It is a technology that dates back to 2008. This is when the white paper, the scientific paper that talks about what is Bitcoin, it was released October 31st, 2008. And then in January the 3rd, 2009, the first network emerged. The first, the Bitcoin network came to be alive. And on that specific day, at the Times newspaper in the UK, they had a headline where it says the Chancellor is at the brink of a second bailout for the banks. It was the momentum of the financial crisis of 2008, and the Chancellor of the Bank of England, they were considering the second bailout for the banks. So they wrote that statement in the first, heartbeat of the network. Technically, it's called the mining, where you are creating the Bitcoin, you are balancing the ledgers, you are balancing the numbers. Perhaps we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that significant moment is so important today because we somehow relive it in 2020 with the pandemic, and 2021 continuing in the pandemic, where we're seeing governments printing money, we're seeing COVID support packages being marketed to the people, to the public. And the late one is in the US with or the new President Biden going for a $3 trillion stimulus package, or a COVID stimulus package. What does this mean? This means that we will have a lot of the US dollar in the market. The economy is not in a good shape to support that level of purchasing power for the amount of paper that you have in your hand. And what will happen is you will need more of those papers to buy the same thing that you used to buy a few years ago. Perhaps the people in Lebanon, they relate to what I'm saying. It is more of a hyperinflation case there. But the birth of Bitcoin came in a very critical time in the human history, line, and it resembles the 1971 to 1973 times, where internet was born along the sides of the Nixon shock. So along the sides of the pandemic, along the sides of a massive financial crisis, we saw Bitcoin rising up. It's a technology. It is a technology that communicates value. This means, like we are communicating now on a screen, internet has changed the way that humans communicate with each other, and Bitcoin is coming to change how humans communicate value with each other. What is so niche about it, and I wouldn't say it, yes, it is hyped, but there is a niche factor in this hype. Never ever in the history of mankind we were able to communicate value on a peer-to-peer level, on a one-to-one level. There we always needed a third party to judge, and this was always a weakness in our financial nature of communicating value, that if you coerce that third party, you're able to implement your own agenda or implement your own intentions, whether they're good intentions or bad intentions. So Bitcoin coming to say, yes, we can now have the people of Syria, the people of Lebanon, the people of Iraq, the people of Zimbabwe, the people of Venezuela, the people of Congo, all these nations that do not have proper or functioning banking system. Bitcoin is here to say, we can include you. All what you need is a smartphone and an internet connection. Now, yes, it is volatile. Yes, it is early stage. Yes, it is very difficult to understand, and it is not user friendly. But that doesn't deny that the technology exists. Since 2009 until today, 24/7, non-stop, we are able to transact beyond what the bank says, beyond what the Federal Reserve says, beyond what Donald Trump says. If we're allowed to send money to Syria, or we're allowed to send money to Iran or not. So this system of punishing a large number of people just because a few misbehave, this ended in 2009, and it gave equality, it gave freedom, it gave mankind an equal chance to be financially included and to be able to communicate value. And it is much more important than the price of, yeah, it reached 40,000 or it reached 50,000.
Indeed, indeed. And then we had an earlier comment from one of our attendees, Abir. She thinks that soon the only coin we will use worldwide. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. So now that we have defined the background, what are the takeaways from this? I just want to read out something I read today from somebody I follow on LinkedIn. There's two things actually Bitcoin facilitated, or actually first thing is it allowed user to user or peer to peer. It was the first time that something was transacted this way, to be able to transact directly without going to a third party. So this is a small summary. Usually we need banks, we need a medium, we need a third party, we need a software company, something. Today, the value of cryptocurrency has reached 1 trillion as per last week hype. So going back to the comment that Lynn Schumann from LinkedIn said today, PwC crypto leader in an interview, they said on CNBC, Bitcoin is now seen as a hedge against inflation. And then this is where we can a little bit comment on, just like gold, some say. So which drove JP Morgan Chase to predict the Bitcoin could reach 146,000 US dollars in the long term, which is drawing more demand from gold buyers. So there's a lot of adoption happening. I was offered a couple of weeks back from my exchange credit card on Bitcoin by Visa. They have done a contract with Visa, and so now they are offering their clients. So now things are opening more. So I just want to try to see your answer regarding the hedge against inflation and where will the Bitcoin be positioned,
Yeah,
and what's the relation to gold?
yeah. And I do not want to pose as an expert on that specific topic, whether Bitcoin is considered gold or is it the digital gold, is it gold 2.0, because then you can relate it easier to inflation. Dr. Safiuddin Ammous has written a book called The Bitcoin Standard. So next to my book, The Invisible Sun, I recommend people to buy as well his book, where he discusses more the similarities between Bitcoin being the gold 2.0. But I want to take everyone one step back. In order to answer this question, we have seen through history that gold is a good hedge against inflation. This is a fact. In any crisis that we talk about, we see that the behavior of the people is to purchase gold. You put it in your teeth, you put it as jewelry, you wear it, you make it bricks, coins. There is many ways where it can take many forms and shapes, and you can hedge against inflation. So is Bitcoin gold 2.0? We look at 6 characteristics. Number one is, or let's make it just the 3 characteristics. Is it a medium of exchange? Can we exchange Bitcoin to something? Yes, you can. You can exchange Bitcoin to your working hours. You can exchange Bitcoin to US dollar. You can exchange Bitcoin to a car, apartment, helicopter, anything you want. Can you break Bitcoin into multiple pieces? So is it a unit of account? Yes, it is a unit of account, because every Bitcoin can be broken down into 100 million pieces, with the smallest piece being called a Satoshi. Now, is Bitcoin a good store of value? Here at this question, people argue a lot, because if we look at Bitcoin today, is it a good store of value? So if I bought yesterday Bitcoin at $40,000 and today it is $32,000, I lost 8,000. Is it store of value? Here I stop the question and I say, who are you? In which context are you in? If you are in Lebanon, yes, 1,000,000%, it's the best store of value ever, because the bank cannot give you your US dollar, the bank will not give you your lira, but Bitcoin, you can liquidate it anytime at any second of the day. So if you lose up to 70% even of your capital, better than losing 100% value of your paper money that is stashed at home or locked behind the screen with a logo from a bank on it. Is Bitcoin a store of value? For me as a citizen in the city of The Hague, where I have a Visa card, I have a MasterCard, I have 3-4 other options of online payments, it's a very bad store of value. I lost $8,000 on every Bitcoin that I bought yesterday. So for inflation, definitely, because hyperinflation is a wicked game. It is, you will see 40 years of your life disappearing in front of your eyes. And this is emotional moments for people in my family that worked in Qatar, that worked in Dubai, that worked in the Gulf. They spend 30, 40 years working outside, sending US dollar every month back to their bank accounts, thinking that when they want to retire, they will come home and retire. What happened is all the money is gone. Now, the ones who have listened and used a little bit of that money and put it into Bitcoin, they're in a less better or a less fortunate in a better fortunate situation. So because Bitcoin carries the characteristics of being a medium of exchange, being a store of value, being a unit of account, we look at it and we try to explain to people that if you are living in a country where there is hyperinflation, where there is financial uncertainty, Bitcoin could be your best friend now, because it is under your control, it is under your command, and it only listens to what you have to say and no one else.
Thank you, Tay. Ahmad, if you can see the comment of Ahmad. Meanwhile, I'm receiving a lot of comments on YouTube and the rest of the channels. Please keep them posted. So there's many people also answering. Thank you for that, because we know there's some solutions to your answers, and then we will be touching in the end. As long as you stay, we will be on to answer you. So Imad Abu Khalil, I find the cryptocurrency empowers people on their way to financial independence and mastery, and release them from enslavement of the states and the bank. I think this is very true. If you just want to comment quickly so I can take
Yeah, sure.
a question.
I mean, even in the Netherlands, in Europe, we have negative interest rates on the saving accounts. That means if you're coming out on pension and you have a good pension, they're gonna pay you more than 250,000 euros for the 50 years that you've given for work and service. Yeah, then you have to pay the bank for that. Why? Because the interest rate is under zero or is at zero. Even in the US, if you have a different skin color than white, you have a problem in getting a bank. So discrimination based on skin color, based on gender. We have so many women from the MENA region. They contact us and say, we want to save Bitcoins because my husband doesn't allow me to open a bank account, or my brother doesn't allow me to open a bank account. These are real life use cases where the technology is playing a role in soothing people's exclusion from society. And yes, there is another group who is speculating on the price. So
Yeah. So what about the Bitcoin adoption? And now we see central bank digital coins, and there's many questions around this. Are more adopting digital coins. I'm not saying adopting Bitcoin. They are buying Bitcoins just possibly to have some reserve or to ride the wave. Where do we see this going on?
Among Generation Z, I think the Bitcoin adoption is increasing. There is millions today of wallets in the market. Those wallets, they could be controlled by a group, a person, or many people. That doesn't mean behind every wallet there is user. This is what I wanted to say. So if we have in the market today 10 million wallets, that doesn't mean we have 10 million people using it. But from what we see day to day, from 2000, and I mean, I'm since 2013 in the community until today, 2020, the number of people that we brought into Bitcoin and that are asking about Bitcoin is increasing every day. And like the pandemic played a major role in bringing this demand up, because everyone started to look at digital alternatives, and especially digital alternatives in getting paid, in sending money, in receiving money, in transacting. And Bitcoin came to help a lot of those people.
I just want to underquote, we are not giving today any financial advice. So for all your financial related questions, why, all of these financials, we are not financial advisors. We will not be giving financial advisors, just to put it into perspective.
Yeah.
So to continue, let me get you a question from the audience. I just saw now there's a lot of questions about Lebanon. We'll get back to that. Antoine said it also empowers the crimes, hacking
and dark web. Definitely.
Web.
Definitely, of course. And Antoine is right. Antoine is 100% right. If this technology does not empower crime, hacking, dark web, then it will not work. It needs to work there first. If it works there, it's good, it's strong, it's resilient, it's censorship resistant, it is open for everyone, it is neutral. Bitcoin doesn't look at you, hey, you're a drug dealer or you're a saint. It doesn't look at who you are. And that's the beauty of the technology again. If we start saying, hey, this Bitcoin is coming from a cocaine deal, or this Bitcoin is coming from an NGO donation, then you are already putting something in the market with, with a possibility to say, yeah, you're Lebanese, we don't give you an account. You're a European, we give you an account, which happens today. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want something that works for criminals. If it works, it's really good. Okay, we can use it somewhere else. Andreas Antonopoulos gives a very nice example about specifically people arguing that, yeah, we must not use Bitcoin because it's used in crime. We call it the sewer rat. The sewer rat, it lives in the sewers. So it needs to get dirty. It needs to be stepped up upon. It needs to work in the garbage. It needs to live in the dark. And this is what gives it its intelligence and its power and its resiliency to live above ground.
I just want to add to that, Tay. I think, at least this is a digital format. But if we take a traditional money, dollars,
Exactly.
and it's also
Exactly,
financing
Rudy. There are
crime,
statistics
financing
that
terrorism, it's also financing.
True.
So it's the same medium.
True.
Some people say you cannot track it. Well, can you track the dollars? They will answer or argue.
On the contrary,
They
Rudy.
have a serial number. But in the end of the day, we see a lot of drug money is being used, laundered into many different ways, and same financing terrorism and so on.
True.
Even though you can track.
Let me tell you something, Rudy.
Yeah.
People who want to money launder and who want to use Bitcoin to do illicit activities, I'm sorry to say it, but they are very stupid, because nobody wants to leave a trace behind him. If you are a criminal, if you are a professional criminal, you want to do some things that are untraceable, that no one can trace it back to you. Bitcoin from day one, and besides, like day one, in a day like today, January 11 and 2009, Hal Finney was tweeting, I'm running Bitcoin. Since that tweet until today, we can look at every single transaction that happened on this network. There was a guy in Amsterdam who was selling drugs for Bitcoin. He ordered the pizza from the same wallet that he was accepting payments for the drugs that he had. The police was able to get to him in matter of minutes. Why? Because his web shop was monitored by the police. It had a Bitcoin wallet on it, and from that wallet, a pizza order came. So tracking it was very simple and very easy. But as you said, if you do this with the US dollar, yeah, that's why Pablo Escobar used the US dollar to sell his cocaine. That's why today, for people who snort cocaine, they roll the US dollar. They don't take a Bitcoin to snort cocaine with it. Can you still hear me?
And some people are calling it bubble. We've seen it last week. It was hitting $40,000. Today it dropped. Currently, I think running around 32,000. Let me get the number quickly. Technology.
$31,200 now.
Yeah. So all of this volatility up and down. Some people will ask what happened. Where is it going? Why did it crash? Do you have somehow
exactly why did it crash? There were some reports from South Korea based on an analysis done by a company called CryptoQuant. So CryptoQuant is an analytic company, crypto analytic company based in South Korea. And according to them, they were miners selling their crypto rewards or their crypto earnings. Logically, when you rally from 20,000 or $18,000 even until $42,000, you need to cash out some returns. The spike of Bitcoin going from its 34 till 40 margins, it was primarily pumped by the Capitol Hill events and what happened there when the Trump supporters they stormed Capitol Hill. So this gave a shock. It gave a shock in the confidence of the US dollar, and quickly capital switched into Bitcoin. There are many stories and many analyses on why specifically it dropped 20%. I would say it's just another day in crypto. This is the nature of open markets. This is the nature of Bitcoin trying to shape up. Is it gonna be a payment network? Is it gonna be a new gold standard? Will we see governments adding it to their assets? We would see companies changing their balance sheets from US dollar into Bitcoin, like what MicroStrategy did. It is all questions open for the future to answer. And those same questions were asked in 1973 on what are we going to do with internet 20 years from now? Are we able to send an image over the internet? Are we able to stream video over the internet? I used to sell porn pictures in school, and I used to sell those pictures on floppy disks. I talked about that in my book. So today I have a cloud. I can put terabytes of pictures on it. I can put millions of pictures on it. In such a short lifetime of 15 years, look how internet changed the way we communicate. And don't look at the speculation of the price. Look at what can we build with such a technology.
Yeah, can you? Don't look at the speculation of sorry. The price. Ahmad, can you check out Ahmad's comment?
When Einstein formulated special theory of relativity, little did he know that people will create the atomic bomb. My point is technology and science are neutral. People decide how they use it. 100%. It is like a knife. You can cut a birthday cake with it. You can stab someone with it. And exactly, Bitcoin is purely a neutral technology. For me personally, it means that we can have at least 1% improvement in the financial inclusion in Lebanon from 2019 till 2020. 0% improvement in financial inclusion in Lebanon the past 2 years. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable in a country where people speak more than 2 languages, where smartphone penetration is really high, where everyone is using his screen to communicate, to connect, to express feelings, but he cannot express the value that he wants in terms of lira, in terms of dollar, in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of whatever currency people want to create, they're free to use it. So that's what moves me, and that's why we started Bitcoin back in 2013 in Lebanon. In small communities, WhatsApp groups, we did a few presentations. We continuously do webinars because we lack a lot behind in financial literacy. And I'm saying it as a person who graduated from Lebanon in business economics. The university is nothing to blame. This is how the system is designed. So I had to learn about Keynesian economics. I had to learn about Austrian economics. I had to learn about cryptography. I had to learn about distributed systems, about distributed networks. I had to decrypt and encrypt on tails. I had to do a lot of stuff that it was outside my comfort zone. I didn't know about. I didn't know these things exist. And that those things combined together could build for you a financial system that you cannot shut down.
I just want to thank our participants, viewers, the 80 of them. I just want to thank you a lot for staying. Keep on your
Yeah.
comments and chats, and we are taking them as we move, so they are related to the topic. I know there's a lot of questions about Lebanon. There's a lot of questions about the economy, about cashing out, about legitimacy. We're going to take many of them as much as we can. All right. So you are also an innovator on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. You created a company called Flus. And why did you create it? Based on what is the mission of Flus?
Yeah.
We know what the word Flus means. You started in the camp when you were in Netherlands. In the whole concept of Bitcoin, but now you're creating your second company, if not your third.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Flus started in March 2020. To be more specific, it was February 2020. This is when it was the beginning of the pandemic in the Netherlands. So we're talking about the lockdowns, and I was sending money back to my dad almost on a monthly basis. Suddenly, the central bank said, well, if you are sending money with Western Union, we will give your dad the money in Lebanese lira, and we will give him the 100 euros that you are sending at a different rate than what the central bank is saying. So here was the confusion. I mean, I'm used to sending 100 euros every month, and my dad would take 150,000 Lebanese liras. Now he's gonna take 400,000 Lebanese liras, but he goes to the supermarket to buy his stuff. Prices are double than that even. So I tried something. I bought Bitcoin from the Netherlands, from an exchange, from my bank account, and I sent it to Lebanon, and we offered it there in the market. People were paying 50% premium on the price just to put their hands on this Bitcoin. Why? Because for them, there is no any other way to send money outside Lebanon. They didn't have a bank account. If they have a bank account, they cannot withdraw the amount of money they want. And most of the people, they rely on cash in their day-to-day activity. So onboarding to a digital platform with the absence of support from the central bank, we thought, hey, we could onboard them into Bitcoin. This is how we started. Today, we are a marketplace where Bitcoin buyers and Bitcoin sellers in Lebanon, they meet up. They do the exchange. We use primarily cash because that's the only way to pay in the country today. And we see two groups of people using our services. The people who are living, we call them the diaspora, they're living outside Lebanon, and they want to send money back to their families. So they buy Bitcoin and they send it. And there is a group in Lebanon, like the mothers of the students who are studying in Canada and France and in UK, in the US, they want to send them money. They have cash. They cannot use Western Union. They cannot put wings on cash and let it fly. So they come to Flus, they buy Bitcoin, and they send this Bitcoin to their loved ones abroad. They're able to exchange it in the same way that I exchange my euros into Bitcoins. They can exchange their Bitcoins into euros. So what happened here is, now you have a financial alternative different than what the bank restrictions are telling you. The bank is telling you you cannot take your US dollar and you cannot pay outside. But what we tell you is, we take the Lebanese lira from you and we will make you pay outside. So one of the comments that we got on our platform was, and say it in Arabic, خليتوا الليرة تحكي وخليتوها ترغل وتحكي لغات. So he was saying that we made the Lebanese lira speak so many languages by simply using Bitcoin, and it is exactly a very nice expression to say on what we do. We simply make the lira sing in different languages. I don't know if you can still hear me, Rudy.
I can hear you. I can hear
Okay,
you.
nice.
Sorry. So why are we still measuring Bitcoin in USD? Faisal
Simple,
commented.
because USD today is the most used type of money around the world. There are some indicators for Bitcoin and gold as well, so you can see Bitcoin, how much is it worth in a gold ounce. I don't remember the website, but I think if Fadi is with us on the chat, Fadi Aro, he can maybe put it on the chat. There is an indicator for Bitcoin and gold where you can measure the price of Bitcoin and gold.
Okay. Okay. So we'll see. Hopefully, Fadi can comment on that.
Yeah.
And many of our users and viewers, they saying gold. Why not gold? Great. Trying to get another. I'm not
There
sure.
was
I'm just.
someone asking about the central bank digital currency.
Yes, yes. I'll get back to that in few minutes because that's another topic. I just not. I will be back to it. But in the Lebanese, let's say market today, there's the community called BBB, Beirut Bitcoin blockchain,
Yeah,
and there's people. There's a website also where you can exchange physically your Bitcoin in cash, or if you know somebody who is dealing with Bitcoin, who has some cash, was it Lebanese value? This is where some of the questions they came. How can we exchange our money? How can we buy
yeah,
using our Lebanese? Or now we have also Flus, where you can put it on the system and technically be matched and executed the transaction. There's other options. This is in Lebanon. Internationally, there's many other options. I use many exchanges, and they all work. One of the comments, let me try to find it, is that we don't have anything working in Lebanon. Bitcoin is not regulated, does not need regulation. As much as central banks they want to try to really regulate it, they can issue whatever they want. Uh, but it will never be regulated, and you have the freedom to actually the freedom to work on it, not as banking, of course. So this was Riyad Salemi, what one circular about Bitcoin. It was more addressed to the banking system,
true.
and we see where today is the banking system. So it's not valid anymore. Our money is stuck, as you said. Things has changed. This is the future. I'm not saying at least this, but this is where you see starting today. There's no one bank that has created his digital coin yet, but soon I think. There was UAE with KSA. They published the paper, but it's not live yet.
Yeah,
So soon it will be live. I think China is trying harder to be the first country, official country. There was a try in Venezuela, but of course that failed due to the biggest embargo, and then also in Iran, and this will not work as international.
yeah.
So this is I'm trying to get a question. Okay, what's your opinion on central bank considering to adopt? I'll get back to that. People the way financial. Just want to see if who did you tell me that should be with us, Faisal? BDL will create a currency and you buy the fresh USD. Yes, BDL, what's BDL? I just want to explain something. What BDL is actually proposing, it is a digital coin, regardless what it is running on, but it's going to be a local digital coin. Similar, this is what we see today. We don't have the final execution, but we know there's no trust in any financial aspect in Lebanon. So far, we see it's going to be only a local currency just to exchange the transfer of the fiat or the physical money. So this is to answer the question related on the Lebanese digital coin. Whereas in other countries, it will be dealt internationally similar to any other. Same as our current Lebanese lira as of early this year, it's no longer dealt on any exchange worldwide. You cannot travel with it, you cannot take it, you cannot do anything with it. So
it's not only Lebanon, Rudy. I mean, every neighboring country around Lebanon, their currencies work only in the countries that you are in. But if you take it outside that geography, the currency doesn't have value.
True, but you can exchange it, and this is where it has a value of exchange. Now, today with this, it's gonna change. We have a question from Francois Hanouch. Do you think mobile operators using Bitcoin or alike as remittance tool to compete with Western Union?
100%. Competing with Western Union and MoneyGram, that's a very big statement. But mobile operators, and we've seen this in Africa a lot, they use mobile money as a term of money or as a term of a currency. They use the credit of the phone as a way to create money in a certain community. So in Kenya, for example, you can buy a government bond using SMS, using the SMS credit. And this is where the leapfrog will happen. And I think, countries that will rise again from the desperate situations they are in, like they say, rise from the ashes. Lebanon, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Uruguay, Mexico, Brazil, countries that have heavy to hyper inflation in them. The option for them to rise back again is to leapfrog. So they will not go to HSBC and implement a new kiosk or a new software or a new banking system. No, they have to completely leapfrog into something else. And that leapfrog, again, would be Bitcoin. People in Lebanon are talking about a currency board. They're talking about other different measures to revive the lira back again. Reviving the lira is a trust issue. Before you talk about the currency board, talk about restoring the trust in the bank, restoring the trust in the government. And this is the core of the problem. Once this core is not solved, people will have to trust something that they trusted all their lives. 1 + 1 is always equal to. They trust math, they trust science, they trust numbers. And Bitcoin, in those few pages that it is, the white paper of Satoshi Nakamoto, you can run math on it. You can run numbers, and numbers do not lie. So while we are waiting for a political miracle to happen, you can simply run the math on your Bitcoin nodes, on your Bitcoin wallets, on your Bitcoin ledgers, and there you have a way to create a new type of financial paradigm that, similar to how Alphabet came from Lebanon, maybe the world adoption for Bitcoin will come from Lebanon.
Who knows? And this is what we have to find out. And Francois asked another
question. By trying, Rudy. If we say we will find out ومش عم نهز طيزنا, then nothing will happen. You have to try out. You have to fail at trying out. You have to learn from your lessons. I'm telling you, from 2013 until 2021, it was only in March 2020 that really flus existed in the market. It took us 5 to 7 years in constant failing every single day to reach a level where everything is aligned for you to take that step. Don't be burned more than you are burned today in order to get into something like Bitcoin.
Yeah, take it easy. That's one of the advice is do take it easy. And this is where Francois is asking about many exchanges are not working in Lebanon. Which one do you recommend using? Well, I'm using more than two personally, international ones. So there's a lot of one, and now we have an option with Flus where you can trustfully also buy Bitcoin. And this is where you're gonna also need a wallet anyhow. I think right, Tay.
True.
Which wallet do you recommend?
True. The most used wallets today in the market are the blockchain wallet, so blockchain.com or blockchain.info. Now here again, how much do you value your privacy? How much you want to be anonymously using Bitcoin, or how much information you want to give to the company that is offering you the wallet. But in general, blockchain.com is a user-friendly app. Samurai Wallet is good for the privacy. BRD has we call it the bread wallet, BRD. It has a easy interface as well. Trust Wallet has a lot of cryptocurrencies in it. There is an exchange in it where you can as well swap between different cryptocurrencies. And yeah, I think those are the come to my head. Before I forget, في شغلة كتير مهمة كمان. People who are downloading wallets or who are using wallets, please back up your keys. This means in the wallet, you will go to your settings. In every single wallet, there is a setting. You go in the setting, there's an option that says there's an option that says backup funds. Backup funds mean you will take a pen and paper. They will give you 12 words, and you write down those 12 words. Those 12 words you must not show to anyone. Not your dad, not your mom, not your sister, not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your second girlfriend, third girlfriend, fourth girlfriend. Don't. This is a secret between you and yourself. You write it down, you make copies of it, and you hide it in different places. In Bitcoin, there's no company, there's no CEO, there's no CFO, there's no customer service, there's no Lilian, there's no Ahmad, there's no Hassan, Ali, there's no one that you can call and tell them, hey, I lost my password or I lost my phone, I want a new wallet. The ownership of the wallet, the ownership of Bitcoin, what you see on the screen, that is on your responsibility. You are responsible in protecting that money. So make sure to back it up. Again, the backup is in the settings of the wallet. You write down the 12 words as they are shown on the screen. And you make sure to hide this paper and don't show it to anyone. Why do I stress on that? Because in 2012, in 2013, in 2014, there was no one to tell me those things. So every time Bitcoin goes up a little bit, I go change my phone and I lose the backup of my wallets, or I didn't even back up some wallets. So please back up your wallets.
Yeah, I personally was challenged last week.
Yeah.
I didn't lose my keys, but I had a problem displacing them. It took me 24 hours to get them back, but thanks God they are back because I needed to do some movements, and I was a little bit aware of what's happening. Somehow I was not aware, of course, but I had a feeling that I must exit a little bit until things calmly go back to normality. So with that, I'm gonna see more questions and more questions. Please ask them. Hardware wallet are like treasures. Somebody is asking about hardware wallet.
When we say a wallet, when we say a Bitcoin wallet, people think of like the portemonnaie you put in your back, like back of your jeans. The concept of wallet in cryptocurrencies is very simple. It is keys. It is a key to your front door, where you welcome the gardener to come and take, or you welcome the UPS guy to bring for you the package. So there is a key for your front door. You give this key to everyone so that they can come into your garden. They can bring stuff for you. They can clean your garden. They can offer you services. And there is a key for your home. This key for your home, you don't give to anyone, you keep with yourself. This is what we call the private key. So the combination of the private key and the public key in cryptography, they will give you an address. And the addition of all these addresses together, you put them in a wallet. So actually, the wallet is giving you access to your addresses, and through your keys, you are getting access to your address as well. What I wanted to mention here is, in technicality, you are not owning Bitcoin, you are owning a signature on the ledger. You are owning a signature that would tell you what is your balance, where and how much Bitcoin have moved from the last time that you signed the transaction. And so is all other people. That balance cannot be changed. You cannot change it. I cannot change it. The central bank cannot change it. The president cannot change it. Donald Trump cannot change it. No one can change it. And this is the beauty of, again, such a technology. You are trusting the math inside it. You are trusting the statistics, the probability, the distributed systems, the distributed network, the cryptography, the economics, instead of trusting someone with a suit and a tie and telling you lira bi alf khair. So I don't need to hear lira bi alf khair. What I need to do is just run a small software on my laptop, and I make sure that, yes, my money is there and the network is alive non-stop from 2009 until today. Can you realize the beauty of such a thing, Rudy? You know, you have something from 2009, it is alive, it didn't stop, and it's growing, and it's giving you access to things that I've never in my life dreamed of having. مش عم نحكي from a perspective of Bitcoin at $40,000. I'm telling you from a perspective of getting a loan, for example. My nationality is Syrian.
The access to none.
As a Syrian, Rudy, as a Syrian national, you cannot have a loan. You cannot have a bank loan. But now I can take a loan from any of those cryptocurrency protocols out there. I cannot put US dollar in a bank account. Now I have US dollar in my wallet. There is a lot of things that my nationality restricts me from doing financially. And it's not only me, it is billions of people around the world. مش حتى hundreds of millions, talking about billions of people that have problems with accessing full stream services from a bank. Now I'm able to stake money. Now I'm able to invest in stocks. Now I'm able to be part owner of an island. I'm able to buy the car I want. I'm able to buy the food I want. I'm able to be financially independent, مش from a perspective of being a millionaire, but from being, I sleep on my pillow and I don't give a fuck what the bank says anymore, because I have my own money on my phone.
Yes, and this is where Sam mentions soon US banks will allow introducing their own stable coins and issuing. They're trying to regulate their market.
Again, this was one of the factors that contributed to the jump of Bitcoin prices. When the US banks were given the light by the SEC to introduce their own stable coins and to use open blockchains. And imagine the SEC talking about using the word open blockchain. What is an open blockchain? Open blockchain is something like Bitcoin. It's something that doesn't take permission to work. Something like Ethereum, it doesn't take permission to work. Something like Litecoin, it doesn't take permission to work. So once the banks are issuing their own stable currencies, and this would give an open door for central banks as well, including the BDL, to issue his own currency. It came from the SEC. Don't listen today, listen to what the SEC is saying.
Yeah. This is where things are changing. You know, the last couple of years, I think the adoption has been booming, and especially 2020 was a year of big push
Yeah.
to Bitcoin. Let's talk a little bit about the cybersecurity aspect from a couple of perspectives, not from the dark web or theft of keys. I'm going to answer Ahmed's question, but I'm going to go on the encryption side, why it's hard to hack the network, why do we need more than 51%? What is actually 51% of the network? So Ahmed asked, how can you transfer BTC in case of sudden death? Tay mentioned that don't give it to your girlfriend. Well, if it's an asset, sometimes you have an asset manager. He is managing your asset, or if you are good friends with your wife, your keys are in a good safe where she somehow knows about this
Unless
and
Bitcoin
how
is a
you
million
need
bucks.
the crypto. The most important thing, Ahmed, is the keys. If you have the keys and the username and the password, you can transact. If a sudden death, you need access to all of this technology. If you don't have access, and we've seen it's actually gone. So let's talk a little bit about the cybersecurity aspect.
Cybersecurity aspect. There is a lot of questions that rise and say, okay, but the U.S. government can shut down Bitcoin. Or
There's another question. I'll hack the whole network and I'll add to the ledger.
yeah, I can hack the network. I add to the ledger. In the process of checking the balances in the Bitcoin network. So when I'm transacting with Rudy, computers around the world that have one job only, they're dedicated for one job only, is to run Bitcoin related computations. So they run algorithms that only work on the Bitcoin network or for Bitcoin purposes only. And the job of such an algorithm is to make sure that there is no changes that happen in the ledger or in this record keeper without the approval of everyone in the network. This is done not primarily, but including one of the tools that cryptography offers. The update on such calculations happen an average of 10 minutes. So if we want to simplify it really simple, we have a book, and every 10 minutes we're flipping the page. Every 10 minutes we're flipping the page. When you want to change something in the past, you have to rewrite the whole book from day one until today, and you have to do that in less than 10 minutes. So mathematically, it is near impossible to do unless there is alien technology that we don't know about that is able to run such computations and be able to to change in the record keeping of Bitcoin. A lot of people point to quantum computers, and China has quantum computers. Yes, if China has quantum computers, perhaps the nuclear buttons are more important than Bitcoin. There, I would be worrying about other things in life. So, from a security perspective, this network is protected again by math, by energy, by electricity, by computations, by work that computers are doing. And in order to change anything in this system, you have to take the approval of the majority, talking about exchanges, wallets, miners, users. Everyone involved in the Bitcoin community needs to approve such a upgrade or a change. Now, of course, changes come in different levels. We have something we call like a soft change or a soft fork, or a hard change, a hard fork. We'll talk perhaps about it some other time. But what I want to point is, sometimes you don't like the color of the logo. I don't like Bitcoin to be orange. I want it in green. You can have a green Bitcoin. You change the code of Bitcoin. You don't change the transactions in Bitcoin. You change the whole software of Bitcoin, and you call it Rudy Coin. You call it Hassan coin, you call it Kareem coin, call it whatever you want, but it is not Bitcoin. Fadi
Yeah.
was saying Bitcoin is making central banks obsolete. Uh, Definitely, and it is very hard for us to imagine that. We, as emotional creatures, and I think Imad Abu Khalil can talk more about the emotional intelligence factor in Bitcoin. But the emotional factor of human beings does not allow us to think of what is a world without a central bank. Similar to how humans back in the 1500 and the 1600, they did not imagine a world, without the church telling them what to do. That the earth is flat and it's not a sphere. And if you say the earth is round, you go to jail or we hang you. This was present in human history, and today we are more in a similar psychological dilemma where we think, hey, is Bitcoin really gonna reach 100K? When I started in Bitcoin and people talk on the Bitcoin talk forums that we will cross $100, I mean, we would laugh. We would. This was a joke that Bitcoin crossed $100. This is a joke. When it crossed $1,000, we thought it is like
Another joke.
it. Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable day to see Bitcoin at $1,000. It's an unbelievable day to see it at 10,000, to see it at 20,000, to see it at 40,000. Fee manipulation. There is whales dumping, and there is miners selling, and there is a US dollar that is rising. There are many factors to consider, but the fact that you have a piece of software released in 2009, 10 years later, gaining a momentum of almost $1 trillion and a total market cap of cryptocurrencies, yeah, that's something big. And we cannot close our eyes on it.
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks back we celebrated the 12th year, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And I just want to add to that the trust of the banking system worldwide is actually shocked. So every 10 years we see a trend now that the whole banking system, and we've seen it in 2008, and possibly we will be seeing it also, regardless of the Lebanese situation, we'll also be seeing it soon happening, because there's a problem in the system, how it was built. So there's a trust issue anyhow in the whole global banking system. Forgetting Lebanon. Lebanon is a compounded political and Ponzi, theft, whatever you want to call it. But that is why the creation of that blockchain network to transact something was created, to go out of the system. And Bitcoin is just a product. And if we go to the fintech today, the fintech world is actually taking chunks and chunks from the banking. And banks, and this is where incumbent banks here are really suffering to keep up. And I think within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a big change in the banking scene worldwide. The things, the way that happening, the trends, the banks branches are closing. They are more e-banks oriented, or neo-banks or digital banks. The cost of running a digital bank is much less. The transaction is much less. For example, in my exchange wallet, I transact, and then the only fee, I had my account since 4 years now. So the only fee I paid is on transaction level, which is something very minimal. I don't pay monthly. I don't pay yearly. I don't pay anything. I get services. I even get a credit card. I'm not paying anything. So this, sharing of money and so on, and things are changing a lot. We will see if banks will be in the museum, as one of the audience mentioned.
Yeah.
Somebody is asked, is there a server server without NS, right? For
No,
Bitcoin.
there is no server in Bitcoins, but we have something called a node. A node is where all the transactions are stored, and it's not one place. Nodes are in thousands of nodes around the world. They are distributed. People argue whether to use the word decentralized or distributed, but I would say more they're distributed. Um, the miners, they are running the calculation, they are protecting the network, they are making sure the transactions have not been tampered with, that the signatures are correct from 2009 until our day to day.
I just want to send a message to Imad Abu Khalil. I don't know if you can contact me on WhatsApp if you received any messages or you have any contact. I just want to maybe try to get you on quickly, if that's possible. Anyhow, will answer his not his comment. Actually, he's making a nice statement. We are programmed since childhood that states and official establishments like central banks represent certainly the security they fulfill and most instantly the psychology needs of safety security. I think he's so right in describing the problem. Yeah. So let's take another question. Okay, this is answered by George. Stefan is answering also the same thing. What happened to low transfer fee transactions that are not confirmed? This limit transaction on cancelled on its own. This is too technical. Sorry, Firas. We will try to take it in the end if we have more time. What do you mean by thousands of servers? Before you answer that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you a movie after we finish. Raymond, please also stand by to the end because I'm gonna show a mining, and if you wanna talk about the mining a little bit to introduce it. Yeah, Tay, do you mind answering that also?
Now?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean thousands of servers? Let me see if I can, sorry, get something behind my laptop. I have a small device that's like a storage device, and I download the whole Bitcoin record on it, the whole Bitcoin book, the whole ledger, and this represents a node, a full node, and I synchronize it always to the network, so it's always connected to the internet. Like me, there are thousands of people who do the same thing. They have an external hard drive or hard disk, and they download the Bitcoin history from day one until today, and they keep it running 24 hours. It doesn't uh, it doesn't pay me a financial return, but it is my way to contribute to the security of the network. In order to shut down Bitcoin, they need to enter my house and enter the houses of thousands of people that have the same device that I have, and shut us all down at the same time with all the miners around the world. All at the same time needs to happen. So this is, again, on paper it's doable, but come operated in practice, it is near impossible to do.
Yeah. There's a lot of something it's big to hack. Something is super big to actually
Yeah,
control.
yeah.
It's millions and millions and millions of nodes, I think, today we are running. And somebody is asking about the scarcity of Bitcoin.
Scarcity of Bitcoin. When Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of the Bitcoin or the electronic uh, cash peer-to-peer paper that he wrote, um, he mentioned there that the total number of Bitcoin to ever be circulating in the market is 21 million. Now, how did he come up to that number? Again, there is mathematics for that. And in one of my LinkedIn posts before, I think dated to January 3rd, I explained, sorry, dated to 2nd January, so 2/1/2021, I wrote a post on why there is only 21 million Bitcoins in circulation. And that gives it its scarcity. Gold is scarce. You cannot find it everywhere in the ground. And if you would have found it everywhere, then it doesn't have the value that people associate or give it to. So Bitcoin is in a similar scenario. There is a limited quantity that will ever be in circulation, 21 million. Uh, when we will have 21 million circulation, it will be in a year 2140. Why? Again, because mathematics and sciences, they decide on the monetary policy of this technology. Nothing in Bitcoin is out of the blue. Everything is calculated based on math and science. And I say it for the second time. You don't have to trust a man in a suit to tell you الليرة بألف خير. You have to run the math on such a technology, and you know that your Bitcoins actually are بألف خير.
Yes, sorry for that. Okay. We have with us Imad. Hi, Imad.
Hi,
Hope all is
everyone.
well.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear
Yes, we
you.
can hear you excellently.
I
Thank
wasn't
you
ready
for
for
your.
this, but thanks for
I know,
inviting
I
me.
know. I know it's on the spot,
Yeah. I'm happy
but
to
you're
be
always
here. Thank you,
you're
Rudy,
al-
and Tay. I'm happy to see you again.
Thank you.
Ahmad, your comments were not actually comments; they were actually remarks, right? So, can you tell us more? What are you thinking? You know, I think you are. Can you introduce first yourself to the audience? Maybe most of them know you. Maybe the others they don't know you. And
Well, yeah.
yeah, please go
So,
ahead.
so briefly, I'm specialized in personal development. I've been in personal development for the past 10 years, and I've studied coaching, psychology, and neuro-linguistic programming, etc. And I've worked in Canada and now in Lebanon. And recently, through Tay and Flus, I was introduced to Bitcoin, and I'm getting to know, learn more about it. And my remarks were based on two things: my research on Bitcoin from one side, and my understanding of human psychology, which I'm specialized in, from the other side. So combining both together, I made my remarks, and I walk the walk. I'm not here to just talk the talk. I actually invested through Flus. So because I trust the process. So I'm not here to talk the talk. I'm here to walk the walk.
That's why I'm actually, ask you because you are deeper into the thinking. You're not talking about emotional thinking. You're not talking, and you're talking more of not just the experience in a way that maybe the society, because this is your field in the end of the day. So that's why I noticed your comments are not technically; they are more about strategically. They are more about a humanistic way, how things are. We are programmed to think, we are programmed to act, and now there's a new thing comes in, a new kid on the block where he's shaking things, and things are no longer traditional, and some of the participants says museum style. That's why I wanted you to be here to bring value. And I know your background, and I think your background can bring a lot of value on that aspect of things. Yeah. So if you mind, just a minute of what do you think? Where are we going? How are we as human gonna take this? Are we gonna shift? Are we gonna challenge it?
So when there's something new introduced to people, we go through four emotional stages, and the stage number one is denial. So that's stage number one. Everything that's new, we go through the four stages. Stage number one is denial. Stage number 2 is anger. And then comes this stage number 3, which is consideration and exploration. And then stage number 4, which is acceptance. So when anyone, including myself 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, Tay knows, I missed up on an opportunity in Bitcoin. And tomorrow we're releasing the episode together. So I denied it. I'm like a lot of people. I denied Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. I called it all kind of stuff. But then I got angry because of all the hassle behind it and all the piracy and all the scammers. But then I started exploring. So it's normal, guys, that we're going through the fear. And fear is a signal to protect you, right? Because we are programmed that safety and security are deposited in the banks. My dad teaches me this, my mom teaches me this, everyone around you teaches you this, and we are used to the image in our subconscious to trust a person in a suit. And that's not a simple detail. And it's not also a coincidence that the Bitcoin people don't wear suits. There's a reason the bankers wear suits, because the suit subconsciously give you trust, because you trust the person in the suit. And by the way, psychologically, what they're trying to do with the Lebanese lira, they're trying to get the trust of people back in the Lebanese lira. And all the laws that they are issuing nowadays is to gain back the trust, because there's a human factor. I've coached companies in forex and in investments, in insurance, in Lebanon, in Dubai, in Cyprus, and in Canada. And there's a human element and a psychological element and an emotional element. Our fear affects the pricing of a stock or an exchange. The fear, because the fear affects the supply and demand. And when it affects the supply and demand, it affects the prices. So we gotta know something, that the fear, that the anxiety that's created in our head is translated into a behavior, a customer behavior, which is in this case the supply and demand. Supply and demand translates into a price of something. So the vulnerability or the volatility of the Bitcoin, which scares a lot of people, it's very normal, because it's only a reflection of how internally and emotionally and mentally people are internalizing the process of Bitcoin worldwide and how it's affecting it. And so when the prices dropped yesterday from 40,000 to whatever price it is, and I looked at my Coinbase and it dropped, it didn't affect me, because I'm not here on the daily. Because when you're on the daily, you're focusing on something you cannot control, and it's only going to create more fear for you. So this is just my reflection with whoever listening on how to start thinking about whether Bitcoin or anything new.
Thank you for that, Ahmad, and I want to thank you for to come here on the spot. I know it's not even short notice. You're great. So I just want to thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We'll continue the last 5 minutes with Tay to conclude. We've been around an hour and a half now. So thank you, Ahmed, again. So what if a wallet is hacked? Any insurance covers any legal party to report to? Please.
تسمح لي, if you allow me, Rudy, to answer this question. And I see a lot of comments, people, they want to know how to download the wallet. I want to do something a little bit, it's unusual for others, but it's a ritual for me. Every time I am live with someone talking about Bitcoin, I give Bitcoin for free for the people. So Raymond, he was active today, and I think he deserves a few US dollars in Bitcoin.
That's a surprise.
Exactly. For Raymond, for Zain, and for Abir and the others, I hope in next opportunities we can meet, or you can go to flus.me and you can get your coins from there. But I want everyone to follow what I'm doing. So we all take our smartphones, switch them on, and you can, if you have a like Samsung, you go to your Play Store, Google Play Store. If you have an iPhone, go to your App Store and download something called the blockchain wallet. Could Kareem, please, can you type blockchain in the chat? Blockchain wallet. This is
Wait.
one of the most wallets used in the cryptocurrency scene today. It is user friendly. It supports multiple cryptocurrencies. So Raymond, when you go to your app store, you have an iPhone, you said, so it's on your app store.
Blockchain.com, right?
Yeah, blockchain.com. It looks like a blue hamburger. It's like
Yeah.
3 shades of blue. Blockchain wallet, yes. Raymond, you have to be fast with me here. So if you're not fast, you don't get your coins.
I'm faster.
Now
Here we
remember,
go.
you're downloading a wallet. Yeah, yes.
That's the website.
Yeah,
Just
that's the website. That's the logo.
just that you got the name.
Yeah.
The name. Eli, you asked a question. I just want to answer it meanwhile until we wait you to download. It depends on the company or the third party that you are dealing with. Okay, there's many. I won't say trustable or not trustable. Some companies, they are reputable. Blockchain.com is, I think it's out of the box solution to get a wallet. The other companies, if you got hacked in a way, we have multi-factor authentication. It's multi as username, password, SMS, Google or whatever authenticator you want, and an email. So you have 5 means of authentication. So to hack your account, I think it's it's become super hard. But if you got hacked because of the network, your money is safe.
True. Now, in order as well to answer the question that was asked regarding insurance, what we usually see happening is companies being hacked and not the Bitcoin network being hacked. And this is a very important distinction to make, that the companies that run blockchain wallets, that run cryptocurrency wallets, they get under attack. And it is not the Bitcoin network itself that it was hacked. So Raymond, did you download he downloaded the wallet? Now I will show everyone. So you log in your wallet.
Raymond,
you put an email and an address. Sorry, an email
address. Zero knowledge.
I have only an iPhone. Yeah, that's why we want to help you. So once you download it, you will put your email address and your password, not the password of your email address. You create a new password. It's something as well people confuse sometimes. When they're using apps, they use the same password of their email. Don't do that. Create a new password, and then it will bring you into something like this, which is your basically screen layout. At the lower part of the screen, there is a transfer button. You click on it and it opens something like that. Transfer up and the currency is down. You click on your Bitcoin wallet.
I just want to explain something, Tay. What Tay is doing now is nothing financial. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You will not be transferring money. You will not be putting your credit card. There's nothing related to financial.
I don't ask for your first name, for your last name, for your date of birth, for your address, for your credit card number, for your shoe number. Nothing at all. All what I ask you is to download an app. You put your email address. You create a password, and you are inside your app. You go down at the lower part of your app. There is a button called transfer. You click on it, and it opens the type of currencies that you want to transfer. So I want to transfer Bitcoin. I click on Bitcoin, and here it would ask me, you want to send Bitcoin from this address to which address? So Raymond, on your part, you need not to click on send, you need to click on receive, because you are receiving money from me. So you can click on receive, you copy this QR code, or under it there is letters and numbers. You can copy them and you can post them here on the YouTube, or you can send them to Rudy. Rudy will share them with me, and then I'm able to send you money from my phone onto your phone. uh, I don't know if Abir was doing the steps as well, if Zain was doing the steps as well. If you're following the steps and someone has a wallet, a number, please share it with Rudy or share it in the
Sure.
in the chat.
So let's start concluding. I'm gonna run a video. It's, I think, wait, let me see. It's 2 minutes or how long? It's about Bitcoin mining. Okay, actually, this is a 4 minutes movie. So we'll be here. We'll come back in a couple of minutes. Keep your questions coming. Just want to give you a visual of how things are happening in the world. What is computers? What is nodes? What in the world is Bitcoin? And here we go.
Right now, the world is basically in the middle of a second gold rush. But the thing is, it's not gold that people are actually after this time around. It's Bitcoin, the biggest, baddest cryptocurrency on the planet. But the thing about Bitcoin is that because it's a digital currency, you obviously can't just dig it out of the ground with a pickaxe. So to get a better sense of how cryptocurrency mining works, we're here in northern Washington to visit one of the biggest Bitcoin mines in the United States and to see what goes on behind the scenes. The whirring sound you're hearing is the sound of 1,800 servers computing. This is a mining facility. So we operate ASIC servers specifically for the Bitcoin blockchain protocol. As you can see, it's a warehouse environment. Our facilities manufacture about 7 Bitcoin per day. The servers in this room do that by solving a difficult math problem called a cryptographic hashing function. In the simplest possible terms, they're solving a puzzle that's generated by the Bitcoin network. About every 10 minutes, a new puzzle or block in the chain is released. The reward for solving that puzzle is currently 12.5 Bitcoins. Working together, all the Bitcoin miners on Earth unlock about 1,800 Bitcoins each day, and about 0.4% of those are mined in this very room. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when we filmed this video, this Bitcoin mine generated about $70,000 a day. That's $2.1 million a month, all in this one room. These are ASIC processors, application-specific integrated circuits. The chip design is specifically to run the protocol that is Bitcoin blockchain. It's code, right? It's specifically a chip design to run that code at a much higher rate of speed. So what you have to understand about Bitcoin is it's a commodity. Most of the world doesn't understand it's actually code with an underlying technology value. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are decentralized, with every transaction being recorded in the blockchain ledger. Bitcoin mining is essentially processing those transactions and adding links to the blockchain. Each link in the chain created every 10 minutes contains about 2,500 transactions. It's held speculatively, okay? So how much money do you make every day is a function of not when we create it. It's a function of when we sell it. So what do? We manufacture it continuously, we hold it for when the price runs up, and then we sell it. We take the proceeds,
and we expand our operation.
Expansion is essential because as more Bitcoin miners come online and servers become more powerful, the puzzles become more difficult to solve. The Bitcoin mining algorithm continuously adjusts to keep the mining rate constant, one block in the chain equaling 12.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And the Bitcoin algorithm only allows for the creation of 21 million Bitcoin, meaning the last Bitcoin will be mined in the year 2140.
Why Wenatchee? Wenatchee is on the Columbia River. We are part of what's called the Mid-Sea Columbia string of hydroelectric dams. We have cheap, plentiful, green hydroelectric power right here.
That means the cost of power is relatively cheap, about $100,000 a month right now.
This facility is a 2 megawatt facility. We are building a 10 megawatt facility now, and we are breaking ground on a 20 megawatt facility, and then we also have 8 megawatts worth of facilities under construction in 2 separate locations. And in addition to that, we are in the process of developing projects for another 80 megawatts, all at this time.
That growth is essential because the world is in the middle of a Bitcoin mining gold rush. Profit margins can be 70% and higher for mining operations, and miners big and small are looking to cash in.
If you can get tech infrastructure closer to the source and not have to build out all the distribution network, you drastically reduce the cost and the bottleneck. So we are building this emerging technology here in Central Washington State because we're close to the source and we have a fiber backbone, an international fiber backbone that travels right through our valley. This region is naturally situated to be one of the international epicenters for this emerging technology we call blockchain.
Yeah. So thank you guys for staying on. I see there's many that are still here. Just gonna take one last question. And Tay, you wanna start concluding?
يا ما بعرف شو صار مع ريموند بس Abir was asking, now I have my wallet, what do I do next? Abir, you can paste your address. So you go down on your app, you click on transfer, you click on receive, you will get a long digit and number, above it a QR code. Copy this long digit and number and paste it in the chat so we can see it. And then I'm able to copy it, paste it to me, and I will send you a few dollars in BTC live on air with Rudy and Dex Talks. To conclude today, أول شيء, first, Bitcoin is a technology. It is not coming from aliens to rule us. It is not from the Israelis to spy on us. It is not from the CIA to destroy Lebanon. This is a technology, an open source, an open, neutral, borderless, immutable, distributed type of network. No one can shut it down. No one can switch it off. No one can hack it. And no one can delete or destroy anything that you write on this network. Second point is, for Lebanon, Bitcoin is very important. It is very necessary. It is a not nice to have. It is a must to have. It is not a vitamin. It is a medicine. And what is it curing? It is curing the hyperinflation, the large number of people sitting on Lebanese lira on paper in cash at their homes. Point number 3, the best investment that you can do in Bitcoin is education. Learn about it. Learn about a little bit of economics. Learn a little bit of cryptography. Learn a little bit of computer science and understand what this technology is doing and trying to do and what it can do in the future is based only upon your imagination on where can I use these tools. I think those are the most important 2 points for today. The invest in education and not speculation. Bitcoin is a technology. And point number three, I would say we need to seriously start thinking about growing a user base of Bitcoin in Lebanon. And on a personal initiative, although I'm not living in Lebanon, although I'm not Lebanese by passport, but I say I'm Lebanese by blood, by growing up there, by eating the food there, by drinking there, by partying there, by living all my youth in Lebanon, finishing school, finishing university. This place is very dear to me because it's where my parents live as well. So we started Flus.me because I saw a lot of people typing it wrong on the chat. So flus.me, flws.me. Why.me? Why not .com or .info or .org? Because .me means Middle East as a target market where we want to focus. And the most important reason is me means self. I am self-sovereign. I am sovereign over my money. I am my own bank. I control my money. I create my money. I receive my money. I send my money بمزاجي in my own sphere, in my own total control without any third party putting sanctions, putting controls, or telling me, yeah, sorry, today we don't have US dollar for you. The network is designed to work in such places like Lebanon because it succeeded on the dark webs and it succeeded among criminals and among drug dealers. Well, guess what? In Lebanon, we have a huge mafia. So we are 100% sure that we have the tools that would help us rebuild Lebanon in the way that we want it to be in a country where money is created by people and owned by the people.
Again, just to do another disclaimer, we are not doing financial advisory. We are not transacting in terms of financial transactions. Tay has gave people and let people win the most people that participated. He's just sending them and enabling them to be on the network. So there's no trading there. There's no financial advice. There's no. That's the topic of
Oh,
our.
I don't know what happened with Abir, but the purpose of me in every single live event sending Bitcoin to people is the best way to understand Bitcoin is to use it. Once you use it, you understand everything that I have talked about today. Once you download that wallet and you start accepting and receiving money through Bitcoin, you see how you can transact value outside from what the institution is telling us, that you can only do that with the bank, you can only do this with PayPal, you can only do this with Western Union. But in a live environment, nothing is staged. I don't know Abir. Abir doesn't know me. I'm able to transact with her in a way that is near real time, across borders, globally, in a way that no one can stop it. So this is why I send usually every single time a few dollars in Bitcoin and to people. What happens is a few years they come back to me and say, hey Tay, last time you sent me $1.25, today it's $6. So because of the scarcity in Bitcoin, whatever I'm sending with time, it will grow and it will gain value.
Yeah, and with that, we're gonna start concluding. Thank you a lot for being here. I hope it was informative. I hope it was. I hope you learned something today. I just want to comment on the video that I shared earlier on. that 10,000, that 70,000 per day is, and 7 million per, and 1 million per month is today worth, today's market as of now, $7 million. So imagine the possibilities, where, again, we're not here for the financial part, but for the possibilities that this uh, channel opens to the world. Uh, there's a lot of comments. Tay, please, if you don't mind, jump onto the YouTube and continue if you want, if you have some time.
No worries.
Thank you all. I just want to thank everybody: Raymond, Zaina, Fadi, Abir, a lot. And Zuz, I hope I was able to answer you regarding investing. We're not investing in here. We're just giving an advice of how you can have an alternative way.
I gave him my advice. The best
Yes,
investment you
yes.
can do is education. University of Nicosia is offering master's degree in digital currencies and blockchain technology. This is where I did my master's. There is free MOOC programs. There is professional certificates. It's a trusted place. It's a good place to get your blockchain journey and your Bitcoin journey jump started. In the future, مثل ما اليوم we look for web developers and full stack developers and pen testers, we will be looking in the future for cryptocurrency analysts, for cryptocurrency media influencers, for cryptocurrency blockchain architects, whatever you want to call it. The job opportunities are there. Invest in yourself. That's the best investment that you can do. So invest in education and not in speculation.
Thank you again, Tay. It was
Thank you. It was
a
lovely
lovely.
speaking to you, Rudy. وكثير أنا بتشكرك for having me tonight. I want to thank everyone. My team was as well in this chat, so thanks for the support. Hopefully we'll meet up again soon, and I think hopefully we can talk about CBDC, central bank digital currencies in future episodes.
Sure. And I want to say that we have another session on Wednesday, same time. It will be titled Cultural Transformation in the Digital Age, with Christine Francis. She's a transformation coach and a lovely friend. And I think it will be very valuable because we want to talk about the culture. And this is what also Imad mentioned. So with that, I want to thank you and I want to say bye-bye
Bye. Good
and
night.
see you Wednesday. And keep tuned.